laughed at her. No bids, no future, no second glance. They said she was built wrong. And that should have been the end.
But sometimes history hides in plain sight.
One win makes headlines. 2 makes belief.
But 3...
No horse had ever carried this much and won. A nation held its breath. And then she ran. This is not a race story. This is how legends are born. History doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it arrives quietly, awkward, gangly, unwanted. In 1999, at a dusty sales ring in England, a plain bay filly stood alone. No elegance, no swagger. One buyer laughed and said, "She looks like a camel." No bids, no future, almost forgotten. 6 years later, that same filly would stop a nation 3 times, carrying impossible weight, facing history itself, and doing what no horse had ever done, and none has done since. This is not just a racing story, it's a story about faith, timing, and defying destiny. This is Makybe Diva, the $300 truck stop mare who became immortal. March 21, 1999. Somerset, England. A bay filly is born, desert king out of Tugela. Her bloodlines are respectable. Her body is not. Long legs that don't quite fit. A frame that looks unfinished. No natural beauty, no early sparkle. At Tattersall's, the great marketplace of dreams, she stands in the ring. Buyers glance, then look away. She doesn't meet her reserve. She is passed in, a silent verdict. In racing, this is usually the end. But fate has a habit of hiding miracles in plain sight. Thousands of miles away, in Port Lincoln, South Australia, a tuna fisherman named Tony Shantich is living a different kind of gamble. A Croatian immigrant who arrived with nothing. He battled storms, debt, bankruptcy, and somehow built one of the world's largest tuna empires. Racing wasn't his profession, it was his escape. When his agent John Foote spotted Tugela, already in foal, Shantich took a chance. Not because he saw greatness, but because sometimes you trust the unknown. The filly arrives in Australia. She is nameless, awkward, still overlooked. Shantich names her Makybe Diva, after 5 women who worked for him. A private joke, a passing gesture. No one imagines the name will one day echo through history. Trained by David Hall, Makybe Diva doesn't burst onto the scene. Her debut? 4th. Unremarkable. But then, something changes. She starts winning, then winning again and again. 6 straight victories. Not flashy wins, relentless ones. She stays, she grinds, she refuses to stop. By the time she claims the Makybe Cup and Queen Elizabeth Stakes, the whispers begin. This mare doesn't look like a champion, but she moves like one. Now comes the ultimate test, the Melbourne Cup, 3,200 meters, pressure like nowhere else on earth, the race that stops a nation. And in 2003, a forgotten filly is about to introduce herself to history. November 4th, 2003, Flemington. 100,000 people, millions watching. Makybe Diva draws barrier 12, carries 51 kilograms, ridden by Glenn Boss for the first time. She settles back, patient, quiet. The field surges, the crowd waits. At the 600, Boss asks the question, and the answer is instant. She accelerates, not explosively, but with devastating certainty. One by one, they fall away. Inside the final 200 meters, she claims the race. Australia erupts. A fisherman owns the Melbourne Cup. A camel has become a queen. But racing is cruel. One win makes headlines, two makes history, and destiny is not finished. Now trained by Lee Friedman, the master of champions. In 2004, Makybe Diva carries expectation and 55.5 kilograms. The track is heavy, the conditions brutal. This time, she is hunted. The race is slow, grueling, punishing, but champions don't complain, they endure. Down the straight, through mud and resistance, Makybe Diva surges again. 2 Melbourne Cups, only a handful have ever done it. Now the question becomes dangerous. Could she do the impossible? "7 years old. The nation watches. She wins the Cox Plate, defeating the best milers in the country. Now she carries 58 kilograms, more than any mare in history. Critics circle, rivals complain, pressure mounts. November 1st, 2005. 106,000 people cram Flemington. Skywriters spell Diva across the sky. This is no longer a race. This is a moment." They jump. Boss settles her wide, calm, calculated. At the 500, he moves. At the 400, the gap opens. And suddenly, history has no defense. She powers away, not struggling, not surviving, dominating. The crowd explodes. 3 Melbourne Cups, unmatched, untouchable. Glenn Boss salutes the crowd. Lee Friedman whispers, "Find the smallest child here. Only they might see this again." Retired immediately. 36 starts. 15 wins. $14.5 million earned. Statues stand at Flemington and Port Lincoln. Her bloodline lives on, but her real legacy is bigger. She reminds us that greatness doesn't always look the part, that belief can come from unlikely places, and that history often begins as a mistake no one wanted. From unwanted filly to eternal legend. This was Makybe Diva.